Hello, Jeffrey. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Jannecke. How are you?
I'm wonderful, and I'm so excited that you are coming to Oslo the 20th of April to my Wisdom and Wonder live evening, where the topic is near death experience. And I wanted just to talk to you a little bit and also for introducing you to the audience that is coming to get to know you a little bit. And from what I understand, it's your first time in Norway?
First time in Norway, and we're so excited to be there. My family comes from Norway. In fact, particularly my great-great-grandfather was from Oslo. So I'm coming back home in a way.
Wonderful. I'm very excited to show you Oslo. And we're also having another guest. He's very famous in Norway. He's a comedian. He's called Schau. And the reason I'm bringing you together is that both of you have had really profound near-death experiences. Like yours were in 1997, and we're going to really delve into that topic and that experience on the 20th of April. And maybe compare and see differences and learn about the other side. But I wanted to ask you, there were many years where you did not speak about this. What was the kind of the motivation for starting to open up about this very personal experience?
Sure. No, I mean, first of all, what happened to me was quite profound, and I was digesting some of it myself. Because the things that happened, I was making sense of them, not only in this realm and in this world, but also with beliefs I had where they didn't necessarily coincide. The other motivation was I didn't want people to think I was crazy. It's like, you don't walk into a room and say, hey, I've been to the other side, and have them go, oh, wow, it's not necessarily openly accepted. So that was the motivation. It just felt like, I wanted to just digest it, keep it to myself. The third thing, it was so profound. It was sacred to me. It wasn't the type of thing that was, conversation over dinner and drinks. It was very, very profound. And then also the pain in losing, half my family in the accident, and the guilt of the fact that I was driving the car, although I was sober and obeying the laws. I just lost control of the car. So there was many factors, but I just held it tightly. And, now, and in fact, when I'm in Norway, it will have been 20 years. It will have been 20 years since the accident. And I love to laugh. So I'm so glad you've brought a comedic, fellow too, because it is, we must laugh at ourselves. We can laugh at the experience too, because everyone has different experiences, and I think it'll be a beautiful, beautiful evening. I'm really excited about it.
Yes, I am too. And I wanted to ask you also, because you have learned a lot from this experience. And you've been saying that it wasn't a religious experience. It had nothing to do with religion, even though you felt kind of a presence of the divine?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I had always been a believer, and I had beliefs and religious beliefs, and yet my beliefs were quite common in a Christian realm, that, there was judgment, and that I was going to be judged by God, and that he was probably angry at me, based on my life. But what I experienced was so unconditional love, absolute divinity. I mean, the words are even difficult to come up with, and it transformed everything, because what I felt was that not only was I divine and perfect, but that we all were. And so, the judgments and comparisons I had grown up with went out the window, and I realized that everyone's perfect in their own way, and that I can honor every individual as absolutely divine, even if their choices are different than my choices, even if their beliefs are different than my beliefs, and even if their life is much different than my life, and that there was beauty and perfection in the diversity. The perfection was in the chaos of us in our humanity, and yet our humanity is much, much more than that, that everything is in perfect divine order, and we're all players in this wonderful orchestra that is mortality and our life. And it's, that a lot of things changed for me that way.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, it wasn't a religious experience, but it was a deeply spiritual experience. And I see the two as differently now.
Right. And that life is not a test. Yeah. That is good to know, because sometimes we feel that something is testing us, but you're saying more that it's a choice. Like we have so much choice, actually, more than we know.
Yeah, and that's what I felt. I mean, in those other realms, not only was it that we had a choice, it's that I had created it for myself. It wasn't that God was doing it to me and testing me, but that I had created the perfect life for my soul's growth, for my soul's expansion, and for my own learning and progress, and that the entire universe, I mean, I'm even cautious about how I throw around the word God these days. It's like it was as if the entire universe was supporting my experience. And in having that, knowledge, I realized that's what is true of each and every one of us. There was nothing special about me. We're all special, and yet we're all equal in the eyes of the divine.
Right. Oh, I'm so excited to really delve into this. Beautiful. And you have written 2 books, right? Will you bring some of the books to Norway? So perhaps...
I'll have some of the books to Norway, and I'm actually in the process, and it's kind of exciting. I want to do a combination book which combines both books and then expound on that. It'll be an anniversary edition, and I would love to do a hardbound library, edition of the 2 books combined. And go back and really expound on some things that even at the time when I wrote the book, has it been 4 or 5 years ago now, that I didn't share, that I still was reserving on. So that's exciting. But I will have books. Yes, I'll bring them with me.
Awesome, because I read them and I remember I shed a few tears. It's really powerful books you've written. So, Jeff, when it comes to science, have science come any closer to maybe opening up for that the consciousness continues after death?
Yeah, no, there's been amazing scientific findings. Now, personally, I don't care to prove it, and I don't know that you ever will prove it. But I'm in conjunction lately and have been doing speaking with some very, very renowned scientists and doctors who have taken a scientific approach. It's the folks from DOPS, the Department of Perceptual Studies at the University of Virginia. And these are renowned folks like Dr. Bruce Grayson and Dr. Jim Tucker and Dr. Ed Kelly. They have 50 years of scientific research that's clinical. It isn't hearsay. And it's all about consciousness, about the near-death experience, about past lives and children remembering, their past life or an experience and bringing that with them at the young age of, 3 and 4 years old and sharing details, which when they go back and verify it, the kids are spot on and there's no way they would know. And then Ed Kelly and the research on consciousness and the bottom line being that they can scientifically prove that consciousness is not in our brain, that consciousness is something far bigger and far greater. So there's some exciting things happening on the front of science and the NDE and these things actually being more validated than just someone's personal experience or hearsay.
Yes, I look forward to speak a little bit about that too on our evening, because I think it's important that we're bridging, spirituality and science, and I think maybe from another perspective is actually the same. We just have to get closer to each other, and if we open that door, start collaborating, we can see more of the big picture in a way.
Yeah, I think all things will come together, and I always say it, but everything's in divine order, and we'll see that all roads lead to one great truth, and it is that we're one, that we're connected, and that love is the most powerful force in the universe if we can embrace that.
Beautiful. Well, welcome to Oslo, the 20th of April. I'm so excited that you're coming, Jeffrey.
Oh, can't wait. Can't wait to see you, and thank you.